In this episode of Big Mistakes in Real Estate podcast, we're going to go over one of the most difficult, controversial questions any new agent will ever face: how to choose your broker.
Everyone makes mistakes, but these mistakes can cost you thousands in commission. Are you a real estate agent? Then listen up and learn from the Big Mistakes in Real Estate podcast with your host, Isaac Ocean.
This episode here is for anyone who is new to real estate and you just passed your test. This isn't going to be the correct move for an agent who has been in the business for 10 years and is already kind of a shaker and a mover. This is what I believe, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion because we know the internet has some. Yeah. So this is just my opinion about what a new agent should do whenever they're getting started. So we're going to go straight into this pretty quickly. So we're going to go straight into this a little quickly. If you listen to episode one thing that I did not go over was episode length. I am told that when you do podcast episodes, to make the length however long the episode dictates it be. So we're about to talk about a meaty subject today. So this episode will be a little bit longer, maybe than the last one. But without further ado, let's get into it. So why am I qualified to talk about choosing a broker? Choosing the wrong broker at first almost cost me my entire real estate career, and I would not even be in business if I had stuck with my initial decision. And the only reason I did so is because I took a class and I kind of figured it out on my own, and nobody ever told me that. So not all brokers are the same. So if your real estate career sucks right now, it might be your broker. It might not actually be you. So we'll get into that. So I'm going to go in a little bit too about my thought process of how I kind of went through the whole situation and how my thought process evolved and how my thought process changed. Because I think, and I could be wrong, again, this is my experience, but I think a lot of people go through this experience because as I talk to seasoned agents, it just takes some agents longer to kind of realize these things. And once they do, they're like, dang, man, I wish I would have known that all along. So that's kind of what this podcast is about, because I made a big mistake and picked the wrong broker for my career, and it cost me thousands of dollars, and that is no joke. So once you have your license, there's kind of, and I could be wrong, but three main paths, it seems to me, that you can pursue for your career. So you can become a real estate agent. You can work for a real estate builder. You can become an investor so that you have easier access to the MLS and maybe can use negotiating points on your commissions. Or there's other reasons. I'm sure there are. And if there are, actually, I'm kind of curious why other reasons would people have real estate license? Like, I can't think of any other reasons. So when I first got my license, I am stoked. I told everybody on Facebook, like, I'm going to be a millionaire. Oh, yeah. Check it out. None of that actually happened. That's the problem. So you're so excited. I was so excited when I got my license. So then I knew what I was going to do even before I got my license, because I knew that I was going to go work for one of the bigger people who are known for education, because I was a new agent. This made total sense. It makes sense. It does. Go work for a brokerage who's offering an intensive education program so that you go from I don't know Joe Schmo to I know everything and I'm a master. Because that's, you want to know what you don't know. And it's one of those, it's the question that I hate because a lot of new real estate agents don't even know which questions to ask. So, how would you know to avoid? Like, you don't even know what you're looking for. So, um, so I was hoping it was going to be like that. That was, I didn't know what to expect. I was really excited. I was really nervous. I remember my first interview. So I walk in, I park in the garage, I take the elevator, and man, this place is fancy. Like, fancy, fancy. Take the elevator to the 11th floor, overlooking West Palm Beach, downtown. West Palm Beach, Florida, which is gorgeous. You can see the ocean from the top of the office. Beautiful office as soon as you walk in. Beautiful views. Beautiful everything. I mean, the envelopes, the flyers, everything that they have, the website they give you, everything is just like, oh, for me, this is the way a new agent needs to be treated. I'm the future millionaire of the world. Thank you for recognizing my worth. And then they tell you about the training program. And each brokerage, it turns out, is very different. So one broker may own multiple brokerages. So, like, my broker owned multiple brokerages, and he was an awesome broker, by the way, very cool guy. Um, so you get in there, and they give a good spiel, and finally they get to the money part. And because of all their technology, and like, they have all the bells and whistles and everything, I mean, it's like you're walking in and driving a Ferrari walking out of this place. That's the way it feels. They give you everything. So finally it comes down to the money, down to the split. And first and foremost, your split is negotiable with your broker. Just like your commissions for your home with each seller is negotiable, whether that's 3 or 2.5 or whatever your commission split is, that's all negotiable. Just to give you a heads up. So some people get 70-30, some people get 80-20, some people get 90-10. And then what happens is they have something called a cap rate. Okay. So a cap rate means, um, first of all, actually, let me back up. First, you need to understand what a split is. So if a home is $100,000 and you are getting 3% of that, that's $3,000. But you're not getting 3% of that because you need to split some of it with your broker. Now you have a 70-30 split. So you get to keep 70% and your broker gets to keep 30%. So if it's $3,000, 30% of $3,000 is $900. So they get to keep the $900 from that deal. So whenever you're in a negotiation with your broker and you have a sit down with them, it's time to negotiate and like flesh that stuff out. So make sure that you don't just accept any number that they just pull out. Make sure you know the industry standards for new agents, where you're at, what you can expect, etc. So then it comes to the money part. There are monthly fees because of all of their fancy technology. They have some crazy stuff out there. I will tell you what, you will look so cool. I promise. You're going to look so cool. It's going to be so worth all the money you're going to waste. So once you get in there and they find out that there's the monthly fee because of technology and all this other good stuff, so then bam, you're paying the monthly fee. They put you on the schedule, and they're really nice, by the way. You have to pay on top of the monthly fee, which can range, I don't know. I was paying like $60 or $70. It was a lot less than I had thought it would be, but it was still, like, as a new agent, I don't know how you guys are doing, but I was broke. So I didn't really have that much money for stuff like that. So I paid it. I paid it anyway because they had this program that I was going to take that took me from a crappy brand new real estate agent to an agent who knows what they're talking about. And one fee that you do not have to pay is your brokerage, and I did not realize this, which was such a bummer at first, because I thought that going to a reputable name, a recognizable name, would make such a huge difference. And honestly, it makes no difference at all. And on top of that, it might actually be worse. So at this office on this 11th floor, they have a secretary. Okay, this is going to be important. They have a secretary. What do you think secretaries do? Let me tell you. They answer the phone. If you work at an office that answers the phone and they have a secretary, they're controlling where every single lead goes. And if it goes to you, congratulations. That's awesome. But if you're a new agent and you don't know what you're doing, and you're going to let leads just slip through all 10 fingers you got here, why would they give you leads? So what are you paying a fee for? A name and a website? Trust me, guys, there's people out here who have been doing this and still doing it for 20, 30, 40 years, making over $100,000 without any of this technology stuff. Do not let the sparkly stuff sidetrack you from actually finding a broker who is just amazing. Let's talk about that for a minute. What makes an amazing broker?
Are you learning? Good, because that's the point. But do me a favor. Subscribe if you have not already. And if you're feeling really frisky, give me a review on your favorite podcast player. Now back to the show.
So first of all, one who is ethical. I thought everybody in real estate was ethical. That's not true. That's not true at all. If you are ethical and you cross every T and dot every I and you are on board with everything, you are in the minority in this game. So just know that. So whenever you walk into deals, there might be stuff that you have to clean up, that you have to do. So you want to make sure your broker knows his or her stuff. So that, in my opinion, is the number one most important thing. Number two, everybody thinks the split's the most important thing. Like, look, ultimately just don't take any, like 70-30 is totally fair. If you don't know what you're doing and somebody comes in there and tells you how to do something and they have to show you everything and they're giving you leads and they're doing all this stuff, a 70-30 split is like, yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. So just be prepared for a couple of things with this stuff with your broker. So finally, when I actually got hired, I went through all of the training that was offered at this brokerage, and I thought it was like awesome. I was like, I know what I'm doing now. I'm the best real estate agent this side of the Mississippi. Turns out I really didn't know what I was doing, because when they give you examples of what you should say or how you should act or scripts, and you don't have people to say that stuff to, it's hard to get actual deals. Like you get deals with people either calling or walking into the office, and trust me, that's what you're going to want to look for. You're going to want to look for an office that is on the ground floor. You're going to want to look for something that has heavy foot traffic. Listen, this alone will make you more money than any book you can possibly buy at the moment. I promise you. There is and like good money, like learning money. And it'll take a while. It won't happen like you work day one and somebody walks in and you're just, a miracle agent. Be prepared for $50,000 listings. They suck, but you know what? You get to learn. You don't know paperwork. You don't know how to actually show a house. What I mean by that is when you have a buyer and you're trying to sell them on a listing and you have to walk through the home, you need to even know how to sell a home. You don't know what they're looking for. You don't know how to do a listing presentation, a buyer's presentation. You don't know how to even verify different background checks or do leases. There there is so much that you do not know. So whenever I got hired, I was super excited. But finally, once I got hired, I was excited, but as the weeks and the months went and the fees went on and on and on and on, I wasn't getting any listings. I was doing what they were telling me to do and nothing was happening. I didn't have a sphere of influence at the time of friends who were in the buying and selling time of their lives. So I needed a different source of leads, but everything that they did and told me to do really didn't work. It's the truth. If you want scripts, check out Tom Ferry. I'll be the first to tell you. That man made me so confident in real estate just listening to all of his podcasts that it's kind of the reason I'm doing this. Walking in his footsteps. It's the truth. It's pretty awesome. But so be careful of anybody that wows you. Be careful of too good to be true. Be careful of anybody who says you're not going to have to grind and we're just going to hand you all this stuff. Be careful of all of that. Another thing that you really want in a brokerage that you choose is a hands-on broker. I was at one of these big places and I didn't know who my broker was for the first 3 months I was there. 3 months I didn't know who my broker was. I knew that there was somebody who was my broker, but I never met him. It's not who I interviewed with, and I didn't even know what he looked like. We were not even Facebook friends. So you get no attention in a big brokerage. None. But at a little brokerage, where the broker is on top of their game and they're intelligent and they're helping people, that's what you want. And man, oh man, does it make a difference. My broker is amazing. She is probably one of the toughest human beings I have ever met in my entire life. And I say that with genuine respect because whenever I have a question, she knows the answer, except for I think one time. It's impressive. But if you cross the line, especially if you knowingly cross the line, that's a whole different story. That's unacceptable at my brokerage, where I'm at. And that's what I like that. I want to do things right. I want to do what's right for my clients, and I want to make sure that my butt is covered in case somebody tries to sue me, which happens all of the time. By the way, how'd you do on the test? Are you a C student?
All new episodes released every Monday at 4 p.m.
Whenever it comes to your brokerage and choosing your brokerage, be careful of the bells and whistles. Be careful of the fireworks. Be careful of all the excitement. because it's just to dazzle you over here so they can take the money over here. Okay? Now, cap rates should be mentioned too. So cap rates, what these are how much commission they can ultimately take from you. So if you make $1 billion in sales, they cannot continue. They're not going to take, $10 million from you. A cap rate is how much how much money can they actually earn off of you as a real estate agent? Where I was at, the cap was $20,000, give or take. If they made $20,000 off of you at a 30-70 or 80-20 split, then they no longer, after that money was paid to the brokerage, you no longer had to pay any money to the brokerage. Your cap rate has been met and you keep 100% of your commissions. So that's kind of how that works. I actually work in a brokerage without any cap rates. Doesn't matter if I make $1 billion, I will be paying my broker. And you know what? After dealing with all the other stuff, with all the cheap stuff, because you think that more money in my pocket is better for you, get rid of that mindset. That mindset is so screwed up in this business. And I'm telling you, not because I'm going to make a dime off of you. I don't know you from anybody else. Take it from my experience. Another big mistake in real estate was thinking that I needed every single cent, being greedy with my money and not knowing what I'm doing. Well, I've kind of changed my mindset because I want to be around really high quality people that don't rip other people off. And those people need to get paid just like anybody else. So with that in mind, I don't mind not having a cap rate, and I don't mind being almost close to over 2 years in the business and not having a cap rate and still being at a 70-30. I am completely okay with all of that because whenever I need something, she is there, and that is worth a peace of mind to know she has my back. So, big takeaway, whenever I walked into my second interview and I knew where I wanted to work, I wanted to work close to home. I didn't want to drive 20 minutes down to the office for some big name. I wanted to work for, and if my broker hears this, understand that I'm just telling you how I felt at the time, but I wanted to work for a boutique brokerage, and I had never heard of Coastline Realty where I work. And so I call her up and I schedule an interview and I walk in and there was no bells, there was no whistles. The office was very, very clean, very nice, well taken care of, but there was no there was no wow factor, I want to say. And I'm grateful that there was no wow factor, because what wows you there are the actual people, and that's not like some corny line. That's like for real. We're real people in that office. When people walk in, we're not just trying to sell. It's more like, what do you need and what can we do for you? And that's what I love. I love being around the caliber of human beings that my office has. And yeah. And when you walked in, I was like, there's real people here. Okay. This isn't all like fake. They're not all, trying to show off. This is real. This was, and it felt real, and it was very real. So, I got hired on. I needed to prove myself to my broker. I showed up and we did, stuff, one-on-one. There was no like group classes or anything. So she walked me through all the contracts. She helps me with negotiations. She's helped me with CMA, which is a comparative market analysis, which when somebody tries to sell their home, it's how much that home is worth based on this analysis. She's walked me through those personally, one-on-one, not this online crap like, hey, well, it's online. We taught you. Have a good one. Like, what? And you know what? I've learned so much faster having these caring interactions than I have anywhere else. And if it was not for my current broker, I would never, ever be doing any of the stuff that I am doing. I made the best decision of my life, switching from one of these big brokerages all the way to one of these small boutique on the avenue with a broker who shows up at the office, who who is going to give you some one-on-one training and is available pretty much all the time. Because a good broker knows it's almost a sacrifice. Like, you are a saint to become a broker. Let me correct that. Because I want to become a broker. Becoming a broker and like opening up a brokerage and like a whole office thing, because you need to pretty much sacrifice your time 24/7, 7 days a week, 365. It's crazy what you have to do to be a broker. So this is, in my humble opinion, the most important decision in your first year. Do not take this lightly. Do not think that you are smarter than everybody. Go talk to some people and go talk to agents and ask one question. One question before you choose where to go. How many leads did your broker give you last month? How many leads did your broker give you last month? Guys, in real estate, you only need like 2 or 3 a month. Like 2 or 3. You're talking thousands of dollars. I've only been doing this for legit part-time 8 months, and then I'm full-time now. Because the paychecks are big. They're big. Like, the most I've ever made was like close to 6,000 somewhere. It's like a check with like my name on it and like $6,000. So take this one decision. If you take away anything from all the podcast episodes that I ever do, this is probably one of the most important ones. So take your brokerage seriously. Pick it carefully and make sure that you know what you're getting into. So, long story is, as a new agent, should you choose a big brokerage or a little brokerage? And honestly, I'm gonna get hung for this, but little brokerage. Like, go to a boutique brokerage somewhere on the avenue. Make it happen. It's much better. It's much better. You get closer attention. You get floor time, leads coming in. Oh, but you don't get the cool little stuff on your phone. Who cares? You know what you don't get at those fancy brokerages? A comma in your bank account. Do you want a comma or a cool app? Trust and believe, my friends.
On the next episode of Big Mistakes in Real Estate.
So here's the thing. The next episode is another one of those things that could just change your life forever, and that's without some gimmicky crap. This is for real. So the next episode is our first episode of our book club, or book recommendations, I should say. I'm going to read these books, and eventually if it turns into some sort of book club, that's cool, but I'm going to give you reviews for books that are specific to the real estate industry, and then we go from there. So these are books that I've actually read, and I don't allow any bad books in here because I don't want anybody to waste their time. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want you to waste your time. Nobody waste their time. So I go through these books, I read them beforehand, and then I cherry pick which books to give that I think are going to give the most impact to your business and your life and your real estate career. So this one is impactful. This is Hal Elrod's Miracle Morning. This bad boy can literally elevate your life to the next level. Yeah, in this book, I go very in detail. I don't, I don't BS too much here. It's worth it. Stay tuned. Check out the next episode. I will see you guys Monday at 4 o'clock.